The cargo ship Golden Eagle drifted steadily toward the sprawling trading station ahead. Captain Jake Morrison stood near the main viewport, watching as the station loomed closer. It resembled a vast metallic metropolis suspended in the void, its myriad lights blinking like stars, with ships darting about like busy insects. "First time here, Captain?" asked Lisa Chong from the pilot's seat, young but remarkably skilled. She expertly maneuvered the ship through the bustling traffic of the station's vicinity. "X7's supposed to be one of the biggest trading hubs in this sector," she added. Jake nodded, his gaze shifting to the display screen. It showed dozens of alien ships, some sleek and serpentine, others bulbous like oversized metal orbs, and a few with forms too alien to describe. Even after 5 years of cargo runs, he still marveled at the diversity of vessels and species he encountered. "Pete, how are we doing back there?" Jake asked through the comm system. "All good, Captain," replied Pete Rodriguez, their engineer. "The new power cells are running smooth. Docking should be a breeze." Amy Brooks glanced up from her workstation, where she was reviewing inventory lists. "I hope they've got the medical supplies we need. The colonies on Kepler-19 are still struggling with that strange fever." The Golden Eagle obeyed the traffic control signals and eased into its designated docking bay. Surrounded by towering ships, it seemed diminutive by comparison. Jake had seen images of alien vessels before, but being this close to such a variety always left him feeling awestruck. Once docked, the crew disembarked, stepping into the connecting corridor. The station's air was tinged with a faint metallic taste, a recycled blend meant to accommodate countless species. The main trading hall was massive, with a ceiling so high it vanished into shadow. Beings of all shapes and sizes bustled about, conversing in musical tones, growls, and clicking sounds. Some walked upright like humans, others moved on multiple legs, and a few floated effortlessly above the ground. "Look at that," Lisa whispered, nodding toward a creature resembling a living tree, its silver bark shimmering and blue leaves glowing faintly. "Don't stare," Jake murmured. "Let's make a good impression." At the supply office, they spent 2 hours securing the medical and food provisions needed for their next run. The alien clerk was accommodating and spoke fluent English, though his voice carried a fluid, bubbling quality. Afterward, Jake gave the crew a few hours to explore. "Be polite and stay out of trouble," he reminded them. Pete headed for the mechanical section, eager to inspect engine components. Lisa and Amy opted to visit the cultural exchange area to experience alien art and music. Jake planned to find a quiet spot to chart their next route. An hour later, a station-wide announcement broke his focus. "Captain Morrison, please report to security, level 5, immediately." Jake's chest tightened. Jake's stomach tightened as he ran, the word security level 5 weighing on him. It was the area reserved for those who broke station rules. Dodging aliens in the bustling corridors, he followed the signs, his heart pounding in time with his hurried steps. When he arrived, he found Pete slumped on a bench, a bruise darkening his cheek and blood staining his shirt. Amy knelt beside him, examining his injuries, while Lisa stood off to the side, her expression a mix of worry and confusion. "What happened?" Jake demanded. Pete winced as he touched his swollen cheek. "I was in the mechanical district looking at power converters. This big lizard-like guy accused me of touching his merchandise without permission. I tried to explain I was just looking, but he didn't care. He hit me before I could finish." Jake's attention shifted to the surrounding area. Security guards of various species formed a wide circle not around Pete, but around a massive reptilian alien. The creature, about 7 feet tall, with dark green scales and piercing yellow eyes, sat on the floor, hands covering its face. Its shoulders shook, and Jake thought it might be crying, though he wasn't sure if its kind even shed tears. "Please," the reptilian said in halting English. "Was accident. Did not know. Please, not tribunal." More guards kept arriving there, presence puzzling Jake. He had never seen so many aliens gathered in one place, let alone working together. There were silver-barked tree beings, towering insect-like creatures, crystal-bodied entities, and others he couldn't identify. A dignified, Alien approached, its silver skin gleaming under the station's lights. With 4 arms and a uniform adorned with intricate symbols, it exuded authority. Captain Morrison, the alien said in flawless English, "I am Commander Zelix of this station. I must extend my apologies for this grave incident. We're conducting a full investigation into this breach of galactic law." "Breach of law?" Jake echoed, frowning. "It was just a fight. These things happen." Commander Zelix regarded him with what might have been surprise, though the alien's face was hard to read. "Captain, are you unaware of the regulations regarding human safety?" "What regulations?" The 4-armed commander exchanged looks with several other security officers, their silent communication unnerving. Perhaps Zelix said with deliberate care, "It would be best if the Galactic Council will explain the situation to you directly," Commander Zelix said. "This is far more serious than a simple fight." Jake glanced at Pete, now standing with Amy's help. His injuries didn't seem too severe, yet the tense atmosphere suggested something far graver. "I don't understand," Jake said, his voice firm. "What's all this about a tribunal? Why are there so many guards here?" The reptilian alien on the floor raised its eyes to Jake, desperation etched into its expression. "Human, please. Forgive, not knowing the old compact. Family will be ruined, please, mercy, the old compact." Jake turned to Commander Zelix. "What's he talking about?" The silver-skinned commander seemed to pale slightly. "Captain Morrison," Zelix said gravely, "appears there is much about your species' place in this galaxy that you are unaware of. You and your crew must speak with the Galactic Council immediately." A chill ran down Jake's spine. The way the gathered aliens looked at him and his crew was unsettling, equal parts awe and fear. Jake wasn't sure which possibility was more terrifying. "Commander," he said slowly, "you need to explain what's going on." Zelix shook his head. "This is beyond my authority. The Council will send a ship for you within the hour. Until then, please accept our apologies and know that justice will prevail." As Jake surveyed the alien faces surrounding them, he realized their simple cargo run had escalated into something far more complex. Whatever the old compact was, it had irrevocably changed his life as a humble ship captain. The ship sent for Jake and his crew was like nothing they'd ever seen. Smooth, white, and devoid of visible weapons or engines. Yet it moved far faster than the Golden Eagle ever could. Their pilot was a being composed of living crystal, its voice a melodic harmony that somehow translated into flawless English. "We will reach the capital world in 6 hours," the crystalline figure said. "Please make yourselves comfortable. The Council is eager to meet with you." In the passenger area, Jake sat with Lisa, Pete, and Amy. Pete's face was still swollen, but Amy's treatment had reduced the worst of the bruising. The crew remained mostly silent, each lost in thought about the events at the station and the unknown that awaited them. "Do you think we're in trouble?" Lisa asked quietly. "I don't know," Jake admitted. "But they seemed more afraid of that lizard guy than angry at us." The capital world, Terminus, was colossal. As the ship descended, Jake saw cities sprawling across continents, with glass and metal towers piercing the clouds. Thousands of ships from countless worlds filled the sky, moving in an endless parade. Their pilot guided the vessel to a vast landing platform at the heart of the largest city, though large enough to hold 1,000 ships. Theirs was the only one present. "The Council honors you with privacy," the pilot explained. "No other business will occur while you are here." Awaited them on the platform, and among them, Jake recognized Commander Zelix. From the trading station, Jake recognized a few familiar faces, but the others were entirely new. Among them floated a being that resembled a jellyfish made of shimmering light, another shaped like a walking mountain of stone, and several others, too alien to describe. The escorts led them through hallways, carved from immense seamless slabs of stone. The walls displayed intricate murals depicting countless worlds and species, history etched in art. Jake noticed something peculiar. Humans appeared in only a few scenes, either aiding other species or standing apart, observing from the edges. The council chamber was immense, its vaulted ceiling vanishing into shadow. Rows of tiered seats curved around a central speaking area, each occupied by a unique alien form. Jake estimated there were representatives from over 300 species. As they walked to the center, the room fell silent. Hundreds of alien eyes fixed on them, the weight of their collective gaze pressing down on Jake. He felt like a specimen. Under a microscope at the head of the chamber stood a being that resembled a crystalline tree, its shimmering branches stretching, as if toward the stars painted on the ceiling. Its ancient presence commanded the room. "Welcome, humans of Earth," the crystalline being spoke, its voice resonating like a melody filling the vast chamber. "I am Speaker Thyron of the Galactic Council. We must discuss the compact that has preserved peace in our galaxy for 3,000 years. Stepped forward cautiously. "Speaker Thyron, we appreciate the welcome, but we're just cargo haulers. I don't understand why we're here or what this compact is." Murmur rippled through the gathered aliens. Thyron's crystalline branches dimmed slightly. "You truly do not know?" the speaker asked. "Your species has been the cornerstone of galactic law for millennia, yet you are unaware of this." Jake shook his head. "Humans have been trading and exploring space for about 200 years, but we're just one species among many. We're not special." Murmurs grew louder and some aliens shifted uneasily in their seats. Thyron's branches glowed brighter as he addressed Jake again. "Captain Morrison, allow me to share a story. 3 millennia ago, when your people first ventured beyond their star system, they encountered the Karvak Empire. Holographic images filled the air above the chamber, showing alien ships locked in battle. Jake watched as human vessels dwarfed by larger, more advanced Karvak ships fought desperately. The Karvak had conquered 47 worlds," Thyron continued. "They believed strength was the ultimate law. When they found humanity's first colony ship, they attacked without warning." Jake flinched as the holograms depicted the destruction of a massive ship. Thousands of lives lost. "They expected humanity to surrender or flee," Thyron said, "but instead, something extraordinary occurred. Humanity fought back. The images shifted to show human military ships moving with breathtaking precision, striking Karvak fleets before vanishing beyond retaliation. "Your species did not merely fight," Thyron explained. "You fought with a tactical brilliance and relentless determination that terrified the galaxy. Within 2 years, the Karvak Empire was utterly defeated." Jake stared, stunned, as scenes of fierce battles and daring maneuvers unfolded. It was hard to believe these were his people, his ancestors. But Thyron continued, his voice softening. What came after was even more remarkable. The holograms changed again, showing human ships landing on Karvak worlds. But instead of images of conquest, Jake saw construction. Humans built hospitals, schools, and farms. "Your people could have enslaved the Karvak," Thyron said. "You could have taken their worlds and resources. Instead, you chose compassion. You provided medical aid, rebuilt their cities, and established democratic governments." Jake's jaw dropped. "Helped our enemies?" "Yes," Thyron confirmed, his branches glowing warmly. "And that choice changed everything. This act of unexpected mercy sent a message across the galaxy." Speaker Thyron continued. "Here was a species capable of overwhelming military might, yet choosing compassion over conquest." Commander Zelix stepped forward. "The Galactic Council recognized that humanity was unique a species with the power to destroy, but the wisdom to heal. Thus, the Terran Compact was born." Speaker Thyron resumed. "Every species in the galaxy agreed to a singular rule. Humans would be granted protected status. Anyone who harmed a human would face the unified justice of all member worlds." Scanned the hundreds of alien faces watching him intently. "You mean the entire galaxy agreed to protect us?" "The logic was clear," Thyron said. "A species with such military potential, yet wielding restraint, demanded respect and protection. More importantly, ensuring humans viewed the galaxy as a line out of threat was critical for everyone's safety." Lisa, standing behind Jake, spoke up. "So, when that traitor hit Pete, he violated the most sacred law of your civilization?" Commander Zelix nodded. "A galactic defense force is already mobilized. Ships from dozens of worlds are en route to ensure justice is served." Jake's head spun. What's going to happen to him? The traitor will face a tribunal, Speaker Thyron explained. He will likely be exiled to the Outer Rim. His merchant clan will be barred from core worlds for a generation, and his species government will issue formal apologies. Amy frowned. That seems harsh for one punch. Thyron's branches drooped slightly. Perhaps, but the alternative is unacceptable. Risking humanity perceiving the galaxy as hostile would be far worse. History has shown us what humans do when they feel threatened. It is a risk we cannot afford to take. The full weight of the situation pressed down on Jake. Humanity wasn't just another species among the stars. They were the most protected beings in the galaxy, feared and respected in equal measure. Speaker Thyron, Jake said slowly. What does this mean for us? For humans? It means, Captain Morrison, Thyron said, that your people bear a great responsibility. You are seen as guardians of galactic peace, not through force, but through the knowledge that such force exists if peace is broken. Jake turned to his crew. Pete still touched his bruised face, likely wondering how one punch could cause such chaos. Lisa and Amy looked as bewildered as Jake felt. We're just cargo haulers, Jake said again, almost pleading. Exactly, Thyron replied. That is why the compact endures. Humans live ordinary lives, trading, building, exploring while the galaxy remains peaceful, knowing what humans are capable of when provoked. As they exited the council chamber, Jake felt his world shift. He wasn't just a ship captain anymore. He was a representative of the most respected and feared species in the galaxy. Whether he wanted it or not, that responsibility would follow him across the stars. Returning to his cargo runs, Jake carried the weight of this new understanding. Every docking, every trade, every interaction with aliens now held a different significance. He noticed it in the way. Lisa kept the ship at top speed, while Pete ensured the engines ran smoothly and Amy scoured news channels for information. Captain Amy called after an hour of searching, picking up reports about a new alien species near the galactic rim. They call themselves the hegemony of Scar. What are they doing? Jake asked, turning to Warder Station. Attacking and conquering worlds, Amy replied grimly. They don't follow any of the usual galactic laws or agreements. A chill ran through Jake. In the 3 months since learning about the Terran Compact, he had grown accustomed to the galaxy's relative peace. The idea of a conquering species was unsettling. Conjuring memories of humanity's ancient conflicts with the Karvak Empire, when they reached Earth, Jake was surprised to find himself escorted to the uppermost levels of human military command. He was led to a secure underground briefing room, where Admiral Roy Jackson and General Lisa Park awaited him. Captain Morrison, Admiral Jackson said as Jake entered, we have a situation that requires unconventional solutions. The Admiral activated a large display screen showing star maps of the galactic rim. Red marks highlighted systems that had recently fallen. The Scar emerged from uncharted space 6 weeks ago. General Park began. They've already taken 12 systems, enslaving populations and stripping worlds of resources. Jake's brow furrowed. Admiral Jackson pressed another button, revealing an image of a small human research station orbiting a distant planet. 3 days ago, he said, the Scar captured the Kepler 442 research station. Dr. Helen Carter and her team of 15 xenobiologists are now hostages. Jake studied the image. The research station looked fragile, dwarfed by the massive Scar. Warships surrounding it. The Scar have sent us a message, General Park added, her tone heavy. They've heard stories about human military power from other species. They want to know if those stories are true. What kind of stories? Jake asked, though he had a sinking feeling he already knew. The same ones that led to the Terran Compact, Admiral Jackson said. Tales of humans fighting with unmatched precision and ferocity when provoked. General Park tapped a control and a recording played. A harsh, guttural voice speaking broken English echoed in the room. Humans of Earth, we have your people. We hear the galaxy fears you like gods of war. If this is true, come take them back. If the stories are false, we will take your colonies next. You have 7 days. Jake felt a cold dread settle over him. You're testing us. Exactly, General Park said. Here's the dilemma. If we respond with overwhelming military force, we might rescue the hostages. But we'll also reinforce fears that humans are becoming aggressive conquerors, potentially turning the entire galaxy against us. If we don't respond strongly enough, the Scar will see us as weak and continue their attacks. Jake's gaze returned to the star map. What do we know about the Scar? Not much, Park admitted. Their technologies advance, but their ships appear hastily constructed. Communication analysis suggests they aren't native to this galaxy. Refugees? Jake asked, raising an eyebrow. Possibly, Admiral Jackson said. Desperate people sometimes do terrible things to survive. Admiral Jackson turned to Jake, his expression serious. Captain, we want you to lead a small reconnaissance mission. Take a stealth ship and gather intelligence about the Scar. Your experience with the Quillen situation showed us you understand the complexities of these kinds of problems. Jake considered the weight of the responsibility. What kind of team will I have? General Park answered. We're assigning Carlos Mendez, a diplomatic specialist, and Nia Price, a special forces operative, to join you. Your mission is to gather information and find a way to rescue the hostages without escalating into war. 2 days later, Jake stood aboard a ship unlike anything he had flown before. The stealth vessel was compact but brimming with advanced technology, designed to evade nearly all forms of detection. Carlos Mendez was a calm, intelligent diplomat, fluent in 12 languages and experienced in negotiating treaties with alien species. Nia Price, a soldier with a knack for clever, non-violent solutions, rounded out the team. The journey to the Kepler 442 system took 5 days. As they traveled, the trio pored over intelligence about the Scar, brainstorming potential strategies. Something about their conquests bothers me, Carlos remarked, scanning a report. They're not targeting the wealthiest systems or the most strategic locations. It's like they're grabbing whatever they can in a hurry. Or running from something, Nia added. When they arrived at the system's edge, Jake activated the ship's advanced sensors, scanning the Scar fleet. 8 massive warships encircled the research station, but something about their configuration seemed unusual. Carlos, take a look at this, Jake said, pointing to the readings. Their ships are powerful, but their power systems seem optimized for short bursts, not sustained operation. Nia analyzed another set of data. And look at this, there's constant movement between their ships. Smaller craft are shuttling supplies back and forth. It's like they're barely keeping the fleet operational. They might be low on resources, Carlos speculated. Jake made a decision that caught his teammates off guard. Instead of stealthily approaching the station, he adjusted their course to head directly for the Scar fleet, broadcasting their identification. Signals openly, Jake. What are you doing? Nia asked, her tone sharp. I'm asking for a conversation, Jake replied. If the Scar want to test humans, they should meet some humans first. The Scar responded almost immediately. The largest warship transmitted a message. Human vessel, do you come to surrender your people? We come to talk, Jake answered calmly. If you want to understand humans, you need to speak with us directly. There was a tense pause before the reply came. You may dock, but no, you will also be our prisoners. As their ship was drawn into the Scar warship's landing bay, Jake steadied himself. The next few hours would decide whether they could find a peaceful resolution or whether humanity would be forced to once again demonstrate the fearsome military might that had forged their reputation. The Scar who greeted them. The being that greeted them at the airlock was tall and thin, with gray, leathery skin and large black eyes. His uniform was patched and worn, reinforcing the impression of a people barely holding their fleet together. I am War Commander Vex 9. The Scar introduced itself in deliberate English. You are either very brave or very foolish to come here. Maybe both, Jake replied calmly. We're here because we want to understand what you really need. War Commander Vex 9's expression flickered with surprise. What we need? We need to know if humans are truly the warriors the galaxy fears you to be. What will you do with that knowledge? Carlos asked evenly. The commander hesitated. That depends on what we discover. As they were led deeper into the ship, Jake couldn't ignore the signs of decay. Walls were patched with mismatched metal plates, equipment hummed loudly as if pushed to its limits, and the crew moved with the sluggishness of exhaustion. This fleet wasn't the image of an unstoppable conquering force. It was a desperate gamble. Jake realized the real challenge here wouldn't be defeating the Scar in battle, would be uncovering what they were truly fleeing from and finding. A way to help them without further violence. War Commander Vexanine stopped before a set of heavy doors. "Your hostages are in the research section," it said, "but they are not precisely prisoners." "What do you mean by that?" Jake asked, his brow furrowing. "You will see." The doors slid open to reveal a bustling laboratory. Instead of human captives under heavy guard, Jake saw Dr. Helen Carter and her team collaborating with Scar scientists. They worked side by side, at computer terminals and laboratory tables, exchanging notes and examining samples. Dr. Carter, a middle-aged woman with her brown hair tied back, looked up from a microscope she was sharing with a Scar scientist. Her sharp, curious eyes lit up behind thick glasses. "Captain Morrison?" she said, recognizing his uniform. "Are you part of the rescue mission?" "In a way," Jake replied, bewildered by the scene. "Dr. Carter, are you and your team being held against your will?" Dr. Carter glanced at the Scar scientist beside her, then back at Jake. "It's complicated, Captain. Yes, we were captured, but now we're working together on something critical." War Commander Vexanine gestured to the equipment. "Show them what you have discovered, Dr. Carter." Dr. Carter activated a large display screen. Images of a barren, desolate planet appeared. Brown and gray landscapes stretched endlessly, devoid of life. Poisoned rivers carved through the land, leaving deep, ugly scars on the surface. "This is the Scar homeworld," she explained solemnly, "or what's left of it. The entire ecosystem collapsed 50 years ago." Carlos leaned in closer to the screen. "How did this happen?" a new voice answered. "We destroyed it ourselves." An elderly Scar entered the room, leaning heavily on a mechanical aid. Its frail frame contrasted starkly with the imposing figures of the other Scar. "I am Elder Vextu," it said in a weary voice, "former leader of our people. We came to this galaxy as refugees fleeing from the consequences of our own mistakes." Elder Vextu activated another display. Images of burning cities and endless battlefields filled the screen. "For 2,000 years, our species waged relentless wars against the artificial intelligences we created," the Elder explained, its voice heavy with regret. "We consumed every resource on our planet to build weapons and armies. When we finally emerged victorious, we discovered that we had destroyed our world in the process." War Commander Vexanine continued, "The few survivors built ships and fled to this galaxy, but we brought our old habits with us. All we know is how to take by force." Jake's expression hardened as he began to piece it together. "So you've been attacking other worlds to gather resources for your people?" "Yes," Elder Vextu admitted, its voice tinged with sorrow. "But it is not sustainable. We are few, and our ships are failing." Dr. Carter stepped forward. "Captain, the Scar didn't just capture us, they sought our help. Their scientists have been working with us to find solutions for their ecological collapse. Their planet can still be saved, but they need assistance with terraforming and sustainable agriculture." Naya frowned. "Why didn't you just ask for help?" War Commander Vexanine shifted uncomfortably. "Because we are warriors, we do not beg. And we feared other species would refuse aid to those who have raided their worlds. So instead, you decided to test human military power." Jake pressed. Elder Vexton nodded. "We had heard the stories of humans who could overcome any enemy, yet chose mercy over conquest. We hoped, if these stories were true, humans might understand our plight." "And if the stories were false," Carlos asked, "then we would continue taking what we need," Vexanine admitted grimly, "until someone stopped us." Jake felt the full weight of the Scar's gamble. They hadn't just taken hostages. They had orchestrated a test of humanity's character. "You wanted to see whether we would respond with violence or try to find another way," Jake said. "Yes," Elder Vexter replied, And you have surprised us. Instead of warships, you sent a diplomat, a scientist, and a small team. Instead of threats, you asked what we needed. Dr. Carter activated another display, this one showing detailed plans for ecological restoration. Captain, she began, her voice steady with conviction. The Scar homeworld can be saved. It will take years of collaboration. But with human terraforming expertise and Scar manufacturing capabilities, we could restore it. What about the worlds you've already attacked? Nia asked. War Commander Vex 9 lowered its gaze. Have taken resources and enslaved populations? These wrongs cannot be undone. But they can be repaired, Carlos countered. The Scar could return what they've stolen and help rebuild what they've damaged. Jake thought about everything he had learned since the trading station incident. The galaxy's laws to protect humanity weren't just about power. They were about justice and mutual responsibility. Elder Vex 2, Jake said. Would your people be willing to face judgment by the Galactic Council? The Elder was silent for a long moment before answering. When we embarked on this path, we expected death or exile. Justice would be a far better outcome. Then I have a proposal, Jake said firmly. He turned to Dr. Carter. How long would it take to restore the Scar homeworld with the right resources and cooperation? Maybe 20 years, she replied thoughtfully. War Commander, Jake addressed Vex 9. How many Scar are there in total? 50,000 on our ships? Another 100,000 in temporary shelters on the worlds we have claimed, the commander answered. Jake turned to Carlos. Could the Galactic Council handle resettlement for 150,000 refugees? Carlos considered the question carefully. If they're willing to work and make reparations for their crimes, yes. The galaxy has experience with refugee species. Jake nodded. Here's what I propose. The Scar surrender to the Galactic Council and accept judgment for their actions. In exchange, the Council assists with establishing refugee settlements, where your people can live and work while restoring your homeworld. Human terraforming experts and Scar scientists will collaborate to develop the necessary restoration technology. In the worlds we attacked? Elder Vex 2 asked cautiously. Scar manufacturing technology will help rebuild what was damaged, Carlos suggested. Your people can work alongside the species you harmed to repair the destruction. War Commander Vex 9 hesitated. Would other species trust us after all we've done? Because humans will guarantee your good behavior, Jake replied. Just as the Terran Compact protects humans, a new agreement can protect all species while fostering cooperation. 3 weeks later, Jake stood in the Galactic Council chamber on Terminus. This time, he was not a confused cargo captain learning about humanity's role in the galaxy. He was a representative helping to create a new galactic law. Speaker. Thyron's crystal branches glowed brightly as he addressed the assembly. The Council recognizes Captain Morrison's proposal for the new compact. The galaxy's foundational. Law will expand beyond you. Don't harm humans too. You don't abandon those who need help. The vote was not unanimous, but strong support from most species ensured its passage. The Scar would face justice for their crimes, but they would also receive the help needed to build a better future. 6 months later, Jake stood on a hill overlooking, where Scar refugees worked alongside human terraforming specialists and volunteers from dozens of species. The settlement bustled with activity Scar and humans operating farming equipment. Alien engineers collaborating on water purification systems, and medical professionals exchanging knowledge. Among them was the Vorthic trader who had once struck Pete. Now working to rebuild his reputation by aiding construction efforts, Dr. Carter had established a permanent research station nearby, where Scar and human scientists collaborated to develop new ecological restoration technologies. Their efforts were already being used to repair other damaged worlds. War Commander Vex 9, now calling himself Vex the Builder, approached Jake. Captain Morrison, he said, his tone humbled. My people have a saying, strength is taking what you need. Wisdom is knowing what you actually need. Your species has taught us the difference. Jake smiled. We're still learning that lesson too. As he looked out over the settlement, Jake realized the galaxy had grown larger and more complicated since that day at the trading station. but it had also become more hopeful. The rule that once protected humanity through fear had evolved into a principle of mutual aid. The golden rule of the galaxy was no longer about what you don't do to humans, it was about what you do for each other when someone needs help. Epilogue. Jake returned to his cargo runs, but his ship now carried more than trade goods, transported relief supplies, diplomatic messages, and hope to settlements throughout the galaxy. The weight of responsibility he had once felt was still there, but now it was shared by countless species. Working together to build a better future, the galaxy had learned a profound truth. True strength comes not from the power to destroy, but from the wisdom to help others build something better.